Alright, guys, we're back at the 608 Chatterbox episode 4. I can't believe it's episode 4 already. Today I'm co hosting with Dylan, and we have a special guest. You want to introduce yourself, man?
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Andreas, but y'all can just call me Reggie.
Yeah, man. We kind of came up with the idea last week. We were like, he reached out to one of us, and we're like, we gotta have him on the podcast. I had Andres in a couple classes in high school, and kind of I guess saw his influential status kind of grow from there, and I think all of us after high school we kind of saw what life really looks like, and I think we all have some sort of path to be inspirational to others. So I think it was a good idea to bring him on here.
Oh yeah, when you know who you are, it's easy to kind of bring that on to other people.
Yeah.
Takes that time to figure it out, though. You don't know right away. Do you want to open up with some questions to him? Man, I got some as well.
I mean, I guess my first real question. What are you up to now after high school? I know you mentioned that you graduated in 21.
Yeah. So I graduated in 21. I graduated earlier before everyone else. I went to the Wisconsin National Guard Challenge Academy, so basically military school, and that was like a 6-month program. And then right after that, I got my HSED, my high school diploma, and my GED. So that was kind of a big flex. And then after the fact, I ended up enlisting into the military, and I went to Marine boot camp at MCRD San Diego, and then I didn't get to complete it, which was kind of fucked up because I got medically dropped they misdiagnosed me with colon cancer. So
whoa, really?
Yeah, that shit kind of fucked me mentally. So I had the option, but I always disclosed to everybody that I did have the option to stay. They did give me the option to stay, but I would have to undergo 3 months of healing, and then I would start my training. So in total, I'll be there for 6 months.
And you'd be further behind with all the healing.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I never heard of that.
Yeah. So I just simply said, just send me the fuck home. Fuck it. Just send me home.
How do you think their approach was towards you for after that diagnosis?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, they're the government, so I mean, in my eyes, I think they should be helping you a lot more than just being at home.
So again, if I would have stayed in boot camp, I would have had all the assistance I would have needed to heal, but it was more of them telling me I was gonna have to be in boot camp for 6 fucking months, and boot camp was already 3 months. And if anybody that has been to Marine boot camp or has graduated Marine boot camp, they know that shit is hell. That is very intense, mentally, emotionally draining.
Yeah.
Physically intense, day in, day out.
You said California, right?
Yeah.
That's across the country.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I couldn't even believe that I was doing this. So when I was enlisting, I was just like, there ain't no way this is really gonna happen. Next thing I'm signing papers. Next thing you know, I'm getting handed a plane ticket. Holy shit. And then I'm hugging my family goodbye, and I'm like, this can't be real. And then I'm on the plane, and I'm like, oh fuck, this is really happening.
And you took inspiration to go to the Marines from that experience at the Challenge Academy?
Yeah. It was kind of funny because, again, it was on Wisconsin National Guard Challenge Academy. It was on a quasi-military base on Fort Axon. And it's kind of funny how they tell us they're not trying to get you to enlist in the military. They're not trying to get you to enlist. But everything they had us doing was military-based.
Oh, yeah.
They had us marching. They had us in somewhat of a military uniform. Everything we did was military standard, and it was just funny. At the end of the day, they would tell us, but we're not trying to get you to enlist. Okay, yeah, sure, totally.
Did you feel pressure throughout that program to enlist then through that, or is it more so what you did was the pressure, but how did they physically go about it when communicating with you?
So basically I didn't feel pressured. I felt like it was something really I was just interested in. The lifestyle, the military lifestyle, kind of rubbed off on me. So me wanting to enlist, it was completely my choice, and I pursued it. So nobody forced me.
Yeah.
So they really started asking me about military when it was close to our graduation period. And then they started asking me like questions. What are my plans after this? What do I want to do with my life? And this, that, and the third. So I was kind of interested already in the military after my experience at the academy. So it was basically a choice of, all right, which branch I'm finna pick. So they was kind of like fighting over me. Like I had team leaders that were in the Marines, and I had team leaders that were also in the Army, and then I had one team leader that was in the Navy, and my Navy team leader, he tried to get me interested, but I was like, nah, I don't really like the water for real. But then I saw how my Marine team leaders and my Army team leaders, how they carried themselves and how they acted and how they talked. Their whole demeanor just really rubbed off me. So it was a no-brainer. I was going to end up picking one of those branches. It was really a fight for which one was going to really sell it for me. And then my counselor was a Marine, and then he got me. He ended up selling it a lot better, and then he ended up getting me in contact with a Marine recruiter, and then since I graduated, I was in contact with him.
You said you went to the Wisconsin National Guard Challenge Academy. Do you kind of want to explain what that is and what kind of that does for somebody that, because if I'm not mistaken, that you can only enter the Challenge Academy if you're in high school, correct?
Correct. So basically the Wisconsin National Guard Challenge Academy, again, it's a 6-month program on a quasi-military base, and it is a nice program for anybody in high school that wants to graduate high school early, or for also, if you look at the website, I would say for troubled youth. So say if you were in trouble, if you got like court fines, or you're in trouble with the police, or you're on your last strike, they'll offer you the Challenge Academy. That way your charges will get dropped, and then on top of that, you can still get your high school education.
Awesome. I think that's a really good program. I know a lot of my classmates went, because I can't be the first one to say that high school is difficult after freshman year. I think everyone really sees, how difficult it really is. I think if you really kind of like see the differences in people's lives in high school, how fortunate they are, and what kind of opportunities they have outside of high school. I think that's what impacts your performance in high school the most.
So actually going off of the Challenge Academy, as far as getting like your school education, not so much like the military part, we actually had one of our previous guests, Lil Ray, he got his diploma through there as well. We didn't bring it up in the podcast as far as I remember, but how does like the GED testing and like your typical school day look at the academy?
It goes like a regular day, a normal day, like in high school. If you weren't in the Challenge Academy, we woke up. When you first wake up, you're working out. So we wake up, we're starting our morning off with like a good 2-3 mile run, and then we're coming back into our barracks. We're getting showered, we're getting dressed. All right, now we're going to breakfast. After breakfast, all right, now we're starting our classes, and they had them all separated throughout the day.
What time do they make you guys wake up?
Shit, that sucked. We would wake up at like 7 in the morning.
Like you guys had to be.
Yeah, you had to be up. There was no sleeping in. You had to be up. If you weren't getting up, they were gonna flip you out that bed. So either get up or get up. It was really your choice.
Did you ever see things get physical?
Yes, very. Again, it's a lot of personalities from all over Wisconsin.
Yep.
All coming together. There was a lot of you had a lot of white people, you had a lot of black people, Hispanics, Italian people have been there too. A lot of native people have been there too. There was a cool kid I met up in there named Yellowbird, and he from Milwaukee. Cool dude, but talks a lot of shit. And I think the one thing that sucks is you can't fight anybody. And I know that's bad for me to say, but there's a lot of people that would test you in there, really push you to your limit, especially with a lot of people closer to your age. So there was like rankings, and first rank you would get would be a squad leader, and that means you would be in charge of like 4 other people. And obviously nobody's trying to get told what to do by somebody that's their age, for real. So with that being said, I was a squad leader, and when I first became a squad leader, my first time seeing something physical happen was when two other people in 2 different squads got physical with each other because it was our self-care day. And that was the day you just took to, clean your bunks, fold your clothes, go ahead and get personal hygiene done if you wanted to. So these 2 kids, they were cleaning their ears, and the other one thought it would be funny to put his dirty Q-tip in the other guy's face. Ugh. And then out of nowhere, all I hear is just this loud smack, and then I just see him, his head falling back, and he hits the ground. And then my team leader came up and tackled the other one, and then put him against the corner and told him wait right there and don't move. And then we all over here just looking at the other guy like, damn, you just let him slap the shit out of you like that. Me personally, I couldn't, but you can't fight on the military base because you gotta abide by military rules. And they literally told us off the jump, if you fight on this military base, you're going to jail. Like, you will be arrested. And he was arrested. There was 3 police cars that came out and took him away in handcuffs.
Wow.
Really hope he's okay. I really hope he's okay, but
I mean, I think that's their mission. I think because like you said, it's troubled youth. They're trying to correct everybody's lives for the better. And I mean, you gotta learn some way.
Oh yeah. From my understanding, it's very like it teaches like discipline, like and self-control, self-awareness, because the purpose, from what I've heard just in this podcast, what I heard from Lil Ray and conversations outside the podcast, is like you're trying to like mold like a better man, quote unquote. Like you're trying to, it really.
Women are in the Challenge Academy too. Just want to include that.
They're like totally separated though, right?
Yes and no. So how it goes is you're separated by companies. So I was in Bravo company. So Bravo 1, I was in Bravo 1. That was the males, and then upstairs was Bravo 2, which was the females. And then next company was the Alpha company. You had Alpha 1, Alpha 2. Those are all males. So if you was in Bravo, you were lucky because you got to be in the same company with the females. I'm not even gonna lie, it was.
But they set standards to kind of to respect the women, right?
Yeah. So when the females, whenever the females would pass us, we had to turn the other way. Anytime there was a female from Bravo company around, we all had to stay staring straight, couldn't make any eye contact. You were not allowed to talk to them any way, shape, or form. Even if they say they dropped their notebook, can't do nothing. You better keep your head straight. Don't even pick it up. Like, really.
So you can't even conversate with them?
Nah, because that's not what you're there for. You're not there to conversate with the females. You're there for you, yourself, and I, and to become a better person, a better civilian. So,
yeah, because, I mean, because you guys get like a little break for holidays, right?
A little break for holidays. When I was going, no.
Did you go to the second part of the
You went during COVID.
Yeah, I went during COVID.
So yeah, they weren't sending people
back
home.
Yeah, we didn't get to do the whole come back home for the holidays.
You can't risk bringing them back with COVID, yeah. Especially around holidays where you're around all your family and loved ones.
Because I had a classmate that he went to the Challenge Academy. He came back for Thanksgiving, and I think he I don't know if he was there to pick up a transcript or something, But we were in lunch, and he showed up to our lunch table, and completely different person. He like before he went, he like would address everybody as like bro or like homie and stuff like that. Kind of like the typical teenager lingo. He came up and said yes sir to everybody. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
and that's what they preach there, right?
Yeah, it's just basic. I feel like it's just simple respect. Speaking with anybody, especially saying yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. That was pretty common with me already because that's how I was simply raised. So it wasn't that hard to constantly speak like that and addressing everybody by their last names. You don't talk to anybody. You don't address anybody in the academy by their first names. It was always
really?
last name. Yeah. So, and then also with your team leaders, you wouldn't really address them by their names. Actually, you'll say team leader, and then you'll follow by their last name. So I'll say team leader Renish or team leader Kramer or team leader Elmore. You wouldn't ever say their first name. If you did, you get in trouble. If they caught you calling another cadet by their first name, like Dylan here, I would say, what's good, Woodruff? I wouldn't say, what's good, Dylan? If they caught me doing that, I'll be outside doing push-ups.
Wow.
And that's how they gave out punishments, by just working out.
Let me ask you this, because I mean I'm not gonna say, most of the cadets or whoever goes to the Challenge Academy is the fittest. What's their approach on kids that show up unfit?
I feel like they just got PT'd a lot more. They were mainly because, again, since they were always the unfit kid, obviously they were less motivated. They were always the ones trying to get out of doing workouts. They were always trying to do the bare minimum. So they was always the ones that would get targeted the most. Not saying they were picked on, but they would always show a lack of effort when it came to physical exercise. So they were just pushed more to do more.
And no one really cared what they had to say? Like, no one really cared about their feelings or what they felt?
Oh, no. That all goes out the window as soon as you sign them papers, you get on that bus.
So I actually, if you don't mind, want to use this to branch off stuff you're doing now, more so. You did you talked about like the personal training and everything you had to do throughout this. And then when you go to San Diego and you're really starting to do like your basic boot camp and shit. So you talked to us a little bit before the podcast about, doing some MMA. You have a first fight. If you want to go ahead and shout that out quick, the date.
Yeah. So I got my first MMA tournament coming up on December 16th, and it will be in Waukesha, Wisconsin. So if you guys are near that area, if you're in Wisconsin, hey, please come by and show some support and come see me fuck some shit up. For
if
real.
You're not and you love a good fight, go check it out. It's a whole tournament, right?
Yeah, it's a whole tournament.
See a bunch of fighting there.
Yeah, you're gonna see a lot of fights. It's gonna be a good time. Bring your family, bring your friends, and hey, you can come see me show out for the one time. Hopefully, my goal doing fighting is I'm trying to make it to the UFC. So Dana White, if you're hearing this, Dana,
send a scout out.
I swear to God, send a scout. Come check me out.
We might have Joe Rogan on the next podcast. So.
Oh, for real? Oh, man, let me get on that.
But I guess the whole point bringing that up is like all this training, and I know you like teach the class now, and you do your training for MMA now. So do you think that played any impact into this now, or is this you trying to branch off and just kind of be your own individual?
Really me trying to branch off and be my own individual. I'm not really trying to be, tied down to one thing. Yeah. I like to see myself as a person that tries to do it all and actually does it all. So me being on here is really just another opportunity for me just to really get myself out there. And again, I really do appreciate you guys for taking the time to have me here. It's pretty cool.
Hell yeah. I mean, it's like we talked about, we did right before the podcast. Hugo brought up making a podcast one day. 3 hours later, he's here and we're setting fucking equipment up. So like, we want to bring people on here who are going to use this opportunity to push themselves. It's one thing to say, I'm going to do this, that, and this. But you are a prime example right now of you set out to do this and now you're doing it. Like, especially something like MMA and like working out, like that's some of the things that are people's biggest issue is everyone's New Year's resolution is I'm gonna get in the gym this year.
Yeah.
1 week in, it's done. Yep. So to actually, and I'm guilty of that too. I've had things like with vaping. I said I'm gonna quit vaping. I went maybe 48 hours, maybe, and that's pushing it. And I bought a new one, got right back to it. I said I was going to go to the gym. I went for about half the month, and then work picked up, and first thing I did was use that as my excuse. Oh, I'm working all these hours. I can't do this. I very damn well could. And I'm hoping some of these guests on here are able to motivate not only other people, but us sitting here. We're trying to do this too, and now we see him making big moves. You talked about wanting to move back to Arizona where you lived most of your life. Yeah. If you want to talk about what's the... So when did you move to Beloit or like Wisconsin?
I moved to Beloit when I was in 8th grade, and then I've been here ever since. Beloit hasn't... I've seen the ups, I've seen downs. One thing I've definitely seen in Beloit is nothing changes. It's still the same. The same old Beloit. Nothing changes. But in Arizona, it was so different. Everything was constantly changing. It was always an adventure. It was always sights to see. There was no reason for you to want to stay in the house because it was so nice out every single fucking day. Exactly. Like, who could really stay in the house all day? That's just people who just didn't even like the heat. And back to on what you was talking about with fitness and being motivated, what I have to say on that is you'll make time for something you really want to do. Yes. And that's for anybody listening right now. You will make time for anything that you are really passionate about or something that you really want to pursue. If you really wanted to work out, then you would actually get in the gym. If you really wanted to get a better job, you actually go look for it. If you really wanted to be an entrepreneur, if you really wanted to be a doctor or anything, you can do it if you just get off your ass and just start grinding for it. Nothing in life is going to be handed to you. Nothing is going to be given to you. You have to sweat. You have to break a bone. You have to cry. You have to bleed for everything you want because life isn't easy, literally. And I am living proof of that. Life is not easy. Like, again, when I get out the academy, I ended up having a child. I had a daughter, and then at first it was a big obstacle for me trying to be a young parent, and then when I was getting comfortable with it, when I was getting into the routine of constantly taking care of somebody else rather than myself, just like that, it was all gone. Then she had passed, and now I was faced with how am I going to take this? Am I going to let this break me? Am I going to let this contradict my future now? Am I going to let this be the end of me? Am I going to just sit in my room all day and cry and cry and cry, wishing everything was so different? Or am I going to get up, rebuild myself, and keep moving forward? Because at the end of the day, the clock still ticks, time still moves, the world still spins. Everybody else is going to continue living their lives. Like, life has to keep going. And the only thing I can do right now is just constantly work and grind until I can't no more, and that's really what I'm doing right now.
Amen to all of that, man. I honestly give you the props to that.
And sorry for your loss. Also, that's unimaginable.
I mean, like I told Dylan when I first kind of like thought of this idea, and I think it was a little bit more clear when Little Ray came on here that I think. And I've heard this many times from a lot of different people that Beloit's the same. There's nothing here for me. I gotta get out of here. I think I've heard that so many times to the point where I've gotten tired of hearing it myself. And I think I want to like create an opportunity, not just for me, but for some like everybody else that is on, because everybody's on this journey in life to succeed. Not like everybody, regardless if you're rich or poor, everybody's on it. And if this is what it takes for you to get on my podcast and record it and have to listen to it every time you doubt yourself, so you can remember why you're doing this, and that's what it has to be, because that's what I want for everybody to succeed and to remember why they're doing it.
Yeah, I think that's why it's nice to get a wider variety of people, you know. The first couple, you did musicians. You had me, Young Phyno. We had Lil Ray. We had 2 elders of the Church of Jesus Christ, 2 people of the Mormon faith come on and talk about, you know, something completely different. I thought it was an interesting episode. We fixed the little audio issue from that episode for this one. But now we have, you know, an inspiring UFC fighter who's been through some shit and now just trying to get his name out there. And regardless, you know, you've talked about ups and downs, but you don't let that affect you. And I think that's really cool. And the things that you have said, you know, you went on a little spiel of like, if you want it, you're going to go get it. And I think that's what everyone needs to hear. You know, it was hitting me a little bit. I'm looking at Hugo. We're making facial expressions back and forth. It's like everyone needs to hear that and to have that mindset at our age, because you're what? How old? Like
20.
Yeah, so I mean, you're younger than us. You're Enrique's age, but yeah, to have that mentality so early, and obviously, you know, life throws obstacles for other people that that it doesn't for others. So you have to mature faster, per se, but you've obviously people give up when that happens. Oh, this ain't going right. Oh, we just moved. Now I'm in bumfuck Wisconsin, you know? Because that had to be your initial thought coming from Arizona to Wisconsin. Like,
yeah.
the fuck am I doing here, you know?
Like,
what is this snow shit?
Yeah, honestly. Honestly. But I was actually kind of used to the snow already. It wasn't even a big deal to me for real because, again, I was born in Chicago.
Oh, that's right.
I was born in Chicago, so I'm already used to the blizzards and everything, cold weather, and it was just very crazy because, again, I was starting to get so used to the nice 24/7 weather, nice heat. I was comfortable always wearing basketball shorts, and then I moved out here, and literally when we moved out here, it was literally in the middle of a blizzard. You guys were in the middle of a fucking blizzard. Wow. And then we were just like, what the fuck? Like, are you kidding me right now? It was so fucking cold too. And I'm over here dressed like somebody from Arizona. I'm coming in wearing shorts and shit. And then I'm over here freezing my ass off. And I'm just like, oh, fuck, I want to go back home now. I'm like, Wisconsin? The fuck is even Wisconsin? I never once have I heard of Wisconsin since when I was living in Chicago. From when I was living in Arizona, never once heard of Wisconsin until we moved out here. I'm like, what the fuck is in Wisconsin?
Besides the weather, did you ever have like something, I guess, like either happen or like an anticipation to go back to Arizona?
Yeah, just simply Arizona's just a nice area to be in. It's a nice place to be at. Honestly, nothing, not going down talk Wisconsin, nice people, nice sceneries out here, but it's not like Arizona. Arizona was a complete aesthetic. It was a complete vibe. You would literally have to be there to understand where I'm coming from, but once you go there and then you come back here, I'm telling you right now, you're going to be like, I want to go back to Arizona because it was that nice little palm trees, the nice cool breezes. Again, it was fucking hot as hell. I think the hottest it can get out there is like a 120.
Ooh.
So like you that ass cooking the egg on the side of the road, and we actually did that, and it was pretty fucking funny. It gets that hot, and I wouldn't recommend anybody to have a car with leather seats because you're asking for it at that point. You're asking to get fucked up. Definitely got to stay hydrated when you're living out there. Water is going to have to be your girlfriend at that point. Like, real shit. You're always going to have a bottle on you because it gets so fucking hot. You will pass out from that heat. You will literally pass out. I think we knew it was so fucking hot as soon as me and my family were walking to the car. My brother opens up the door. Instantly a heat wave slaps him. And nose just starts bleeding off rib. Oh. I'm like, yeah. After we saw that, we all took a quick second and stepped away from the car. Like, we're gonna let that heat kind of come out a little bit before we hop up in here.
Oh man.
Yeah, it gets really. And then there's dust storms too. Literally.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah, and it gets pretty bad. And one time, I wish I would have caught it on recording, but it actually picked my brother up and almost took him in the air. He actually got off the ground. That's how strong it was. I'm like, oh, wow. And we were walking from school, and I was just trying to contemplate.
In the middle of a dust storm?
Yeah. then it happened out of nowhere. Like that day, we didn't know we were gonna have a dust storm, but as soon as we were walking, our phones just started going off with alerts, and then we're like, oh shit, we're gonna have a dust storm. And
I think that's how it is, right? Like, it can just happen at random times.
Really, it really just happens randomly out of nowhere. And I was just trying to figure out, damn, how the hell am I going to tell my mom that my brother flew away? Like how do you tell your mother that, like, we went to school and then it's like, I lost him, the wind took him, like, I can't explain that. But, again, Arizona was just a complete vibe. You just had to be there. I mean, if you're not a fan of the heat, if you're not a fan of rattlesnakes and scorpions and other little reptiles, then don't go to Arizona. But if you don't mind it, definitely you should go there just to visit, at least just to visit.
So you say a lot of great things about Arizona, but there's no way that in, like, the years that you've spent here in Beloit, there hasn't been, like, good memories that you've had here.
Oh, yeah.
What are those good memories?
I'll definitely have to say going to Beloit Memorial. I'm not even going to lie.
Really?
I'm not even going to. It's crazy that I say that for real, but I actually don't. For most of the part, I don't regret it simply because of friends I made and the memories I have in that high school, constantly wandering them halls, running from the security guards because they're trying to get me back in my class. I don't know if you guys remember Driscoll, Officer Driscoll. Yeah, Driscoll was the plug with the chips. That man had a locker full of snacks on every floor, constantly. The teachers, the counselors, wonderful staff, my coaches. Even though I wouldn't recommend going to Beloit Memorial for sports, that's the only. I wouldn't.
I've played baseball there. It's tough conference, and we're the shittiest one in the conference for almost every sport.
Exactly. I think for football, Baltimore, they got taken out of the Big 8. That's how trash. That's how trash they.
Really?
It was the year after we left. Right?
Yeah, literally the year after. Yeah, literally the year after we left, they got taken out.
It makes sense. I hate to say it makes sense, but I've been seeing them win recently, so I guess that.
Don't worry,
it's
not
a little bit of sense.
I'm pretty sure it's the reason why they won that homecoming game a couple years ago.
Oh man, look, I remember our homecoming game and we lost. Lost so badly. I'm talking like I think score was like 43 to damn near 8.
The funny part is that Jacobson Field gets packed during homecoming. Like the city does come out and watch the game.
Well, they come out to watch it lose. They come out to watch it lose.
Coming to watch a 75.
I mean, but hey, y'all come to support it, so definitely appreciate the community for always coming out to show some love. But you come to show love for an L off rip, like off rip. And then what's funny, the funniest part about all of that is the fact that I want to say it's either the fact that most of the crowd is either still there or slowly watching them dwindle like one by one starting to leave. Yeah. And it's still like the second quarter. We're not even the third yet. That's be the craziest part. Otherwise, I would say Beloit Memorial, like, high school experience wise, like socializing, all around good experience. Like, you got the high school experience, but if you're just somebody trying to go for sports and you really want to get your name out there or be seen and scouted, I would not recommend going there. For that. Yeah, like, and I'm not even gonna drop names because they can't get in trouble for this, but there were 2 students who were very talented and the coach ended up leaving, but he went to a school in Illinois, and he ended up taking them with him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and both of them ended up lying, saying that they were both living with him, and he lied and said that they were living with him to help them enroll into that school, and then they ended up playing football for that Illinois school. And now they're both in college playing football.
Wow.
Again, they made a smart move. Yeah. Definitely a smart move. But
just not one that would pass through the guidelines.
Yeah, you feel me? Because that's definitely not allowed.
Sounds like favoritism to me.
It is. That's one thing that sucks about. That's another thing that sucks about Beloit Memorial with sports. There was definitely favorites. If you weren't, especially with football, if you weren't either the favorite of the coach or you weren't either like all around star player don't expect to start, don't expect to get.
I could not agree more. Yeah.
I was gonna say I can't speak personally on football and basketball because neither of the two I played there. I played baseball there, but from what I'd heard and hearing it from you who played, it sounds like this isn't just something that like the people who didn't make it or like the excuse makers were saying. What I had heard is it sounds like most of the time, like for basketball, they have their starting five picked out before the tryout starts as long as they didn't previously graduate. Yep. And as far as football, you kind of have who you're playing figured out. So even if you're outshined, it's going to be, our star player just had a rough time, adjusting, getting back to it when he's getting outplayed. And I'm not going to use names.
I would hear that even if you had failing grades and you were a favorite, you would start.
Oh, you could talk to teachers and get little extensions and exams.
There was.
We had a baseball player do that too, and I won't say who it was or who the coach was at the time, who's no longer there. But
I'm not, because again, I'm not going to downplay anybody again. If you were like that, you were like that. If you were close with the coach, then you had that bond with the coach. But otherwise, if you're just a random person like me, and they'll just come from Arizona, and you just want to play football, which was actually on the other side, it was actually pretty crazy when I first wanted to join the football team. It was crazy when I asked for tryouts. I was like, okay, so when's tryouts? And I was told there were no tryouts. All I had to do was just fill out a form, give my money, and then the next thing you know, I'm wearing football gear, and I'm like, you guys don't have tryouts? Because in Arizona, every sport that we had, there was tryouts. You had to try out.
The good schools are cutting players left and right.
Yeah.
If you're not good, you're not good. And it's not a downplay to you, during the season while you're not on the team and in the off season grind. But yeah, it's back to what he was saying way earlier. You cannot be expected to be given shit. Like our baseball team, my freshman year, they were like in state. I think they lost, but they were like in it for real. And I was on JV. Mm-hmm. And then every year after that, I was varsity. And the issue is, anyone who went through all the open gyms and tryouts and the morning workouts was on the team. So it's like, I hate to say carrying dead weight, but like you have to work and put in the work to be, because it was guys like, I can say these names or whatever. It was, me, Chad, and some of the older guys. Like me and Chad were amongst the younger ones of the older ones, but it got to a point where it's frustrating because it's like, we're grinding doing all this and we're seeing this half-ass shit for people who, with baseball, they wouldn't even get at bats in the year. So it's like you're damn near using this to get on the bus and leave class. So it was like that's what bothers me is, you're not going to that's why our school isn't putting out like the best teams because anyone can just be on it, And it's like you see like Sun Prairie, cut, you're not good enough, cut, and they have multiple schools.
But the thing is also is you can't expect people to start coming to these open gyms and stuff like that during the summer if you're only, because I saw this, I'm not gonna mention what sport or nothing because I know I'll get some backlash for it, but what I saw is that there was little group chats that would only be between the coach or coaches and the favorites. And let's just set up a random open gym in the summer. But don't tell the rest of the players that want to play.
Yeah.
So how did they get better?
Exactly.
Yeah, what the hell?
But you know what that is though, is that it's Beloit Memorial not caring where their students end up in success. And I think I had a teacher, shout out to Mr. C, Mr. what is it?
Capizella.
Capizella.
Yeah, shout out Cap.
He pointed this out a lot that you're just shoved into some classes and expected to succeed, and that's it. And when it's time to either take the ACT or your senior year trying to apply to colleges, you're expected to know where the hell you want to go.
I didn't even know how to apply to college.
I didn't know what FAFSA was, and I was a senior.
Yeah. No, literally. They're having me fill this shit out. It's like, I need my parents' information too. They chaperoning me at college. Like, yeah, all that shit was new to me. And
I was like, they're gonna give me loans and grants based on my parents' income.
Saying we're taking like, and I get it for the people who love trade jobs. or like, you know, like cooking or whatever, but we got like this welding and food and cultures. We don't know how to do our fucking taxes. You know, when we're in school, they're not teaching us how to apply for loans. This, like, we should have budgeting courses, you know?
Yeah.
Like, why am I doing earth, rock, and mineral science or some shit? Am I
AP calculus? Like,
and for the people who love that and are gonna do something with it, it's great to have as an option. But
I think that there's too much of a requirement to some classes because like for example, like we're on the topic of math. Math, you need to take, what is it? It's fresh. So algebra 1, geometry, and then algebra 2.
Yep.
That's too much.
And like, I did algebra 1 in 8th grade because I was like 1 year ahead of math or whatever. So I came in freshman year, did geometry, then algebra 2, and then they tell me, you've only done 2 high school math classes. I said, no, I've done 3. I did 1 prior. So I ended up having to take probability and stats too. So I had to end up taking another math class. I could have went to anything else I was interested in. And like, we do like the academic labs or advisories or whatever the hell they're called. Those little like short periods. Yeah. Why are we not going over some life shit there? When we're reading or sitting on our phones or doing like last class's work instead of, if we need that help, let us go talk to the teacher.
And for the majority part, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I from freshman year to junior year, my academic lab, I had most of the times my teacher wasn't even in the fucking room.
Yeah, I used to be able to get.
She was in the next room talking to the next teacher.
I used to be able to get a yellow pass that was to another class, and go home. I would go home for lab and lunch. And that was because I used to live on Vine right over there, so yeah. I was 7 minute walk. I would go right down and do that, but we got crazy off topic here, kind of just rambling on about
when
that.
You're talking about Beloit Memorial, like when you're talking
it's all
about
genuine.
I'm like, because when you're like, y'all don't understand, like when you're talking about Beloit Memorial, it's just so much like. It's just so much bullshit that went into that school. Like, don't get me wrong. It was a nice experience, but it was a lot of nitpicking. Beloit Memorial has nothing but favorites. That's within the sports, and that's within academics. If you were a sporty person and you were clicked in with the coaches, you were golden. If you were a nerdy kid and not even trying to bring race into it, but if you were a little preppy white kid, I'm not even gonna lie, you were gonna be good with the teachers, and that's just the facts. I'm sorry, but I've seen it. Multiple of my friends seen it. It's blatantly shown by the teachers. And again, I'm not dropping names, but if you were in my math class with, I'm not dropping names, but I will drop the teacher name though. If you were in my math class with Miss Kelly. Definitely had favorites. She definitely did have favorites, and it was always, and she was the volleyball coach. All the preppy little white girls, nothing but favorites. Like, come on.
As a white male, I'm agreeing with that 100%.
I'm like, come on.
I'm agreeing with that 100%.
And I'm not just nitpicking. I'm not trying to just call people out, but I have a reason to be saying what I am saying. I've seen. And been shown like the favoritism within this school. So it's not like I'm throwing this out of thin air or pulling this out my ass. Like, no, it's real. It's definitely real.
I'm agreeing with all that, 100%.
But let me tell you this though, is I think we should be thankful in a way because the experiences, even though they were shitty, is like shaped the experience that we had in high school.
And I can't say I've never had a good, I had a lot of good experiences too,
yes.
Which I think all the shitty stuff makes you cherish those more. Like when you guys are shouting out teachers, and we shouted out Sergeant Bartow.
We gotta get him on the podcast.
He's awesome.
We gotta get him on the podcast.
Didn't you email him?
I emailed him.
We have to get him on.
We're waiting on that email.
You guys definitely gotta get Sergeant Bartow.
Oh, he's great.
Best teacher. I remember.
And I know we were just talking bullshit classes, and it might seem like that, but it's not, because it's almost like what we talked about at the beginning. Like, you have to do the creed and you learn about this shit, and like you have to talk a certain way in there too, because like he's funny. Like I told you in the last podcast, my brother came in and he's like, "Hey Tyler, did you He's like doing like a little blunt to the mouth. He's like, you take a trip to the parking lot before you came into my class? Like, he's a funny guy. I don't even know if I should be saying that, but like,
I'm like, he really doesn't care. I'm not even gonna lie. There's a lot of shit I shouldn't be saying, but no, hey, I'm out the high school now, so I don't really care anymore. I remember in his class, this is when like the vape pens started dropping now, and me and my friends literally be I have an old video of me and my friends in the back of his class, literally with all of our pens, and really just blowing pens in his class, and he's literally just giving us a lesson. And then as soon as he started talking to us, we all just stared at him, and then went right back to talking and got back to moving our pens. That was Sergeant Bronto was literally the best teacher ever. Definitely taught me some life lessons.
So towards the end of our podcast, we always have someone who had Barto recite the creed. So if you want to go ahead and recite that creed for us, I want to see if he knows. it.
Sergeant Barto, I'm sorry.
You don't know that shit.
I'm sorry, I really couldn't.
And I hope you all know it's a grade. You have to remember the creed, and he makes you recite it at the end of the class or the end of the term, and that's what you're graded on. I think it's a final, right?
Yeah, it is the class's final, but obviously. Oh, hold up.
We have it right here.
Yep. All right, we got a position of attention.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, man. We're getting. Enrique got to join in.
We got to do this.
Oh yeah.
Let's see here. I am in the Army Junior ROTC cadet. I'll always conduct myself to bring credit to my family, country, school, and the Corps of Cadets. I am loyal and patriotic. I am the future of the United States of America. I do not lie, cheat, or steal. I'll always be accountable for my actions and deeds. I'll always practice good citizenship and patriotism. I will work hard to improve my mind, strengthen my body. I will seek the mantle of leadership and stand prepared to uphold the Constitution and American way of life. May God grant me with the strength to always live by this creed.
About face?
Yeah,
Enrique didn't do the move.
Yeah, kiss my ass. It's funny trying to remember that creed. It's almost like trying to remember females.
If you guys did the second one where you got to get the uniform, you go in the little classroom.
Oh yeah, I didn't get it that far up in it.
I did the second one and I was done after that. It was fun though. We still did like the PT day or whatever every Thursday.
I couldn't.
The only difference was Wednesday we had to. We only did it like 3 times. He said it was like half the semester or whatever. We did it like 3 times and then he just gave up on it.
I'm almost positive that people like started telling me that he stopped caring.
Well, like we still did like we were marching around the barking and shit. Yeah. Like we still did all that, but eventually he cut the uniforms.
He slowly as he he started having JROTC 1 again. They started doing marching more often.
Really? In the first one?
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, the marching they had ROTC doing is definitely different from military marching. It's definitely the same. He definitely had you guys doing similar stuff to the military, but when you actually enlist and you actually go to boot camp, the marching is so much. I won't say it's a lot cooler. You feel me? And especially when you start doing cadences, it was the best. I love doing cadences. It was, I can't sing, but hey, I can definitely sound off for y'all. It was definitely lit. So,
I kind of want to move into like a little bit of a touchier topic with you, just because no offense or anything, but you are our first black guest.
Oh damn!
Imagine
what?
Your co-host was mixed.
You can't start it like that. I want to get on a touchy. I want to get on a touchy
subject.
Right.
I cannot believe we've brought you here today.
I can't believe you're the first Negro we brought on this.
He's the guest though.
Podcast is really starting to move forward. So
I just want to point out Black Lives Matter.
What?
That shit sounded hella forced.
I just wanted to point that out.
He said, so first off,
I know I'm gonna get it in the comments.
Man, he's got that on the script right now.
For starters, what they did to Rosa Parks was so fucked up. What the fuck?
What you looking up at OK4?
He said it would have been so fucked up.
You gotta donate now. I don't know if you know that.
You gotta donate now for that one. It would have been so much. It would have been so much funny if he, all right, I'm going to get on a touchy subject right now. All right, it's no offense to you, absolutely, but you are the first black person that we had on this podcast. But I just want to say, slavery.
I wasn't going to go that
slavery
far.
was so fucked up.
I was not going to go that far.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
No, I can't wait to see where this one goes, actually.
I want to hear this.
I'll sit back for a minute on this one.
So where you going?
But you do got to add, your co-host is literally mixed.
Well, he
did ask one question on the podcast,
God.
and he said, so how much weed you smoke? that was his one question.
All he said.
You said you smoke it often? How you smoke it?
Dang, yeah.
But let me get into my question.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
There's a question to this?
So how's it
I kind of wanted to introduce it.
So how's it being black?
Wanted to introduce it.
What made you want to be black?
Exactly. What made you want to be African?
So because you chose to be...
Yeah, bro, I chose my skin tone.
I don't know why you guys are laughing. Enrique and DMW are whiter than snow.
No, what really did it was the whole setup. Like, I'm thinking every personal thing we've brought up, and you say, you do know that you're black, right? Like, pretty much just drops.
I'm just gonna check my hands right now. I'm like, oh shit, I'm black. Whoa, holy fuck! When did I never knew I was black?
A little, and his first defense was, you do know Black Lives Matter.
Oh, really? I did not know that. I really didn't know it.
I support it.
I will hope you.
I support it. Bro, there's other podcasters that don't. There's other podcasters that don't.
And they slowly hold up the Black Lives Matter fist, and he takes the knee. Thank you. Oh, this is amazing.
All right, can I ask my question now?
We should have started with this.
Can I ask my question now?
Yeah.
So slavery. Ask the fucking question.
You guys can't stop laughing.
It's the dramatic pause. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Carvel.
What?
Hey, shout out to K-Soul. Shout out to K-Soul, you know. I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Carvel. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. That's the fucking question.
I want you guys to breathe for a second.
All right.
Are you guys ready?
I don't know yet. I don't know what's coming, but yeah, right. I'm as ready as I'm going to be.
All right.
So for 2 summers, I was brutally molested.
That's literally the podcast I thought of with the stops. He's like, you can't add brutally. He says, so for 2 summers, it broke me down, it shattered me, but I was molested by this guy with Down syndrome.
Oh my God.
And the podcasters are laughing at him. He's like, what's funny about that? And then every time he was, you laugh again, I'm going to leave. And he'd say it worse every time. Every day for 3 years straight.
It was like every day. You couldn't fucking avoid him.
For 2 summers. I was like,
what?
I'm so happy you brought it. I didn't want to like drop it right in here, but now that you have, gotta go off.
All right, go ahead.
Oh
please ask the question, please. Please.
Yeah, we're ready.
All right.
I promise we're ready.
You said you're 20 years old, right?
Yeah.
All right. So,
where's the race?
Hold on. Can I ask my question?
Yes.
Can I ask my question?
I'm sorry, man.
Okay. All right. At 20 years old, you live in Beloit.
Yep.
One of the most diverse cities in Wisconsin.
Absolutely.
How does it feel to be a black man in America? I'm asking a serious question. I'm sorry.
As a man in this town with 36,000 people, how have you survived America? Like, we're just giving you shit. This is great.
All right. So I'm so sorry. Being an African American specimen in America. I haven't had any problems. I really haven't had any problems in Beloit. being black, I've been treated very fairly. I would like to. I'm so sorry.
Shout out Driscoll.
Shout out Driscoll. Shout out Driscoll. I don't know. Shout out Driscoll. But honestly, I don't even know how to fucking go about that question. So being black is interesting.
Really changed my life.
Like, yeah, it really changed my life. You know, I woke up one day and I looked in the mirror. I'm like, holy shit, I am black. And then I'm like, holy shit, there are white people. But honestly, I haven't had any problems, like racially wise. I haven't had any problems. I feel like so far throughout my life, I've been given fair opportunities like the next person. I will not lie. Again, back to Arizona, there was an incident with my oldest sister being in high school. You know, there was some racial things that were happening in her high school. There were kids drawing on her desk, calling her nappy headed, calling her an ugly black girl, calling her the hard R N word.
Jeez.
So it was for her it was pretty tough. But as far as for me, I never had any problems. I was always easily able to just. I think I just have that energy that makes people gravitate towards me, and with positive energy. I've never had any negative things happen to me racially wise. Otherwise, being a Negro is pretty fun. I can go around and saying my cock is bigger. Simply because of my skin tone. So,
which is a
he looked in the mirror and
which
said,
is a stereotype.
He looked in the mirror and said, holy shit. He looked down, he said, holy fucking shit.
I'm like, Mom, look what you made for me. Holy shit. This motherfucker's huge. Goddamn, Kyle. Shit. But yeah, it's been pretty cool. It's been pretty cool.
Now we gotta drop it. That ain't no stereotype.
Yeah, there ain't no fucking stereotype.
What?
You know the Negro penis is large.
Hugo sweating over there.
I'm not. I just.
Will you deny it?
He's thinking about the apology video he's gonna have to make.
I swear to God.
The what?
Before you guys cancel me.
Before you guys cancel him, just know it.
Reggie showed me, and it is in fact not a stereotype.
You want some proof?
Reggie's going to drop proof tonight on his Instagram, linked in the description.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I think Billy might be mad that he doesn't have the Alaskan bullworm, so.
Not the Alaskan bullworm, bro. Oh, come on. Oh, shit. Oh, won't you look at that? Oh, damn, that is so...
What just happened?
I don't know.
Nah, I just... Other shit. Some good news. Some very fucking good news that I really need.
Would you like to share it?
I just got offered a higher paying position at my job. That was just my confirmation letter through email. Yes.
Wow.
It's so again, like I said earlier. Again, for starters, Dylan and the African American supporter right in front of me. I'm gonna get on your ass. He'll go in a second. But honestly, it's really I've been really grinding, y'all. I really been pushing towards all my goals. Especially after going to the academy and experiencing what have I experienced, and at such a very young age. That's why I really just want to extend myself out to anybody, no matter your age. You are not too young to go through stuff. You are not too young to experience some traumatic shit, because on a complete different level, the world is so fucking cruel and it is harsh, and no matter your age, height, size, ethnicity, it is going to chew you up and it is going to beat you down, and it is really up to every last one of you to get up and keep pushing. Like I said earlier, I am living proof that you can have a strong mindset. It doesn't matter who you are. As long as you have a strong mindset, as long as you have that mental focus and that mental demeanor of, I can do this, no matter what's being thrown at me right now, no matter what is going to happen in my life, I will continue to fight and I will continue to keep fighting and keep moving and keep pushing, because at the end of the day, that is what life is. It is trial and error. You are going to burn. You are going to crash. You are going to break bones. You are going to bleed sometimes. You are going to cry sometimes. But it's all up to you as an individual and as a person, whether you are going to lay down and just die or you're going to get up and continue to live. And that's really what I want anybody of any age to continue to do. It does not matter. Age does not matter to some extent. To some extent, age does matter, but yeah.
In context.
In context. But it doesn't matter how old you are. You are not too young to mature. You are not too old to still learn some stuff from a person of a younger age.
That's important. Yeah, you're never too old to find a new direction either.
And that's what always kind of irritated me. Not even irritated. That kind of just made me look at people a lot different of an older age. Like my elders, like they will always think that they have it all figured out, and they would think, they're too wise to learn anything else from somebody younger. Because at the end of the day, I can still learn from you guys. You guys can learn from me. We can learn from anyone.
And we have the power to teach anyone too. Especially the way that the world works now, where it's like, seems like every kind of 10 years, it kind of becomes the younger generation's world, You got shit trending, you got even like language. Like you see a big barrier with like people who, like as far as like gender pronunciation, like that wasn't a thing. You do that back in the day, and you're like, even now, people still have some issues, but like back in the day, it's like people would walk around and drop like the slur for gay, like the F-bomb, and it's like stuff like that isn't tolerated because we're So now we got 2 apology videos coming out on the channel coming soon. But
on behalf of the LGBT community, I apologize.
But like, yeah, on a real note though, like you see shit change. Like even we're gonna use one of Hugo's examples, dating back to slavery. Obviously that's not everything changes, and it's always. I feel like you always get the younger generation that's gonna like set the trend. Like us, like we have much more technology now. We're doing all this shit.
This is definitely the age of technology.
One making no damn podcasts in the 80s.
Of what's going on.
Yeah, really, if you really think about it, for our generation, social media and all other social media platforms are literally the source of our generation's wealth. This is the generation of technology. This is the generation of...
Not just the wealth, but like the issues.
It holds people accountable, too. Yes. You see people get canceled because you can't just say whatever the hell you want.
Hugo.
I'm Hugo,
You're really going to have to put that apology letter out soon, bro, like right after this.
There's nothing to apologize about, bro.
Starting next week, I'll be taking over the podcast.
This is going to be Young Phyno Presents. The 608 Not So Chatterbox.
And I will happily be on that one. I will happily be on that one, too.
There will be no racial abuse on that.
Is this a good point to end our podcast today, this episode?
I do think we should give you a quick chance if you have a message or anything else. You've obviously discussed a lot and said a lot, so if you don't, you don't. But maybe an opportunity, if you have anything else you want to promote even, you've talked about social media influencing between me and Hugo, but I don't think we've really had a chance to fully have that come up. We'll throw any links in the description, but if you want to talk about what you do on your social medias, this is your time.
So basically, everybody, I'm just a simple, humble little gym rat. That is it. If you guys want to check me out, again, help me reach 20K followers, you can find me on Instagram at OTWaydre. It's _OTWaydre.
Make sure to send any sort of links to us, too. We'll
put
put
it
in
the
description
send you guys
as well.
The links and everything. But
if you got any business number, anything at all, just send everything through.
Definitely make sure. Also, I also just became an ambassador for Bucked Up. And if you guys also are interested in some fitness supplements, definitely check out my Instagram. You can find my link, and you can use my promo code DreUp.
We'll definitely put that in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Because at the end of the day, I'm a big fitness person. I love working out. I highly recommend anybody to do it. And again, I highly recommend that everybody pursues their dreams. Fuck what anybody else is talking about. Fuck what anybody else has to say about your dreams, because at the end of the day, your dream is your dream. Your goals are your goals. Your life is your life. Nobody has to live your life. You live your life. So fuck what anybody else says about your goals or aspirations or anything you want to achieve in life, because at the end of the day, they don't live your life. At the end of the day, you have to go home to that bed. You have to go in that mirror and look at the same person every single fucking day. So fuck what anybody else has to tell you or tell you how far of a shot your goals or your dreams might be. At the end of the day, it does not matter what anybody else thinks. The only thing that matters is what you are passionate about and what you aspire to be in life. If you want to be a TikTok influencer, a social media influencer, fitness influencer, if you want to if you want to be the next president, go crazy. The sky's the limit, and you yourself can take you to where you want to go. Always remember that.
And remember, for episode 5, we need some more goddamn water down here. We're all coughing up.
I've been sipping on the same cup.
Is that a wrap, boys?
That was a great episode.
Wrap,
we present Reggie, a successful black man in America, right, Hugo?
Holy shit, Dylan. Yeah, thank you guys for having me. It's been a pleasure. Hope to be back on here again, man.
We're definitely getting you back on here.
I feel like there's a lot more we could be talking about.
We need that tournament update for those who can't attend.
That tournament, hey, for real, make sure you guys definitely tune in. I'm pretty sure it'll be live stream if you can't make it.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and link all that too as well. So wrap, boys, yeah.
That's been episode 4 of the 608 Chatterbox. Thank you, Reggie. Thank you, Dylan. And this has been another great episode. Thank you, guys.